Hey there team, and welcome to another battle report from Skinjet. Something that is immediately really exciting me about this one is Winter Edoras. I adore Winter Edoras. It's such a big thing. Such a big thing for me. I really like winter maps full stop, but yeah, just seeing Edoras in the winter, it's nice. I've got a whiny cat next to me. Poor little Basil had to go to the vet today, and I don't think he's really forgiven us. But, so he will be making some noises. I petted him for a good 20 minutes before we started, but he's immediately asking for petting again. I know, Basil, you'll... God damn it. So, we've got Noked Lee. Never seen Noked Lee before. So, he's got his Sindar off the girdle today. Backed up by Skinjet with his Dwarves of Khazad-dûm. Taking a catapult there. Zooming on up here. We have the Khazad-dûm Reclaimers and the Hiri Lang. As you can see as well, this is this is even an evening battle, so it's double to my taste. Really enjoy the aesthetic of it. Hiri Ek there, along with some shield guard. Moving through the town centre, we have some 3rd Legion infantry, some more Hiri Ek, Elders of the Elven King, alongside some shield guard, the Sentries of Khazad-dûm, and some Hiri Oth there. Greenwood Rangers and the Wardens of Amon Lank. Hiri Lang. It's like the more I talk, the more he tries to talk over me. I know. When the battle gets going, I might give you a quick pet, okay? Hammers of Gundabad there, and then the Woodland Realm Patrol. Elven King Palace Guard, 3rd Legion Infantry, and the Guards of Khazad-dûm with the General today, I believe. Some grass fighting its way up through the snow. Anything else? No. As I say, we'll have a quick look at the defence when we actually get up to it and see how they have deployed. But I just wanted to rattle through in the beginning. I know, Basil. Jeepers, you're really bad today. I'm going to give him a quick rub on the head, but... Goodness sake. Let's just turn off... Everybody's gotten really into Prison Architect recently, which I do need to give that game another try. We've got Nearbora. I've not seen a lot of these guys before. I think Skinjet might be like an American, and I just never bump into these guys. So, because just in different time zones. His Harlanden infantry up front, backed up by some Mithlond pikes, Mithlond marines, 4 Linden marines, sorry, Harlanden guard in the back, 4 Linden archers, and then the dreaded Noldoran guard. Harlanden infantry there, a triple of them. So it's good to get some more elves on the field in order to counter that Mirkwood fire, but Linden's not really what you want in a skirmish fight. Over pushing this side is Sunny 01, again, another name I've never seen before. Alcarondas Legion, Belikith Axguard, 2 of them, the Harbingers of Castamere with the General in them. Shield Bearers, 2 of them, nice bit of AP to come crashing into the Dwarves. 2 more Alcarondas Legion, and the Trebuchet. Trebuchet is definitely going to give them an interesting advantage here, with that great accuracy and range. More Alcarondas Legion, and some Belagar Archers there just to soak up fire. An armor upgrade for them today? No armor upgrade for them now. Over on this side of the battlefield, we have the Dwarves of Erebor. Cool, so I always think Dwarves and Elves on the defense is a very powerful combination, but it's good. I know, you're so whiny. I don't know if that's going to come through or not, but he is whining just about every few seconds right now. We've got Star here. I'm not going to attempt the Star of his name, unfortunately. I'm not too sure what that represents. The Ironfoot Warriors there. And then Ironfoot Spears, more Ironfoot Spears. Oh, he stopped yelling. Okay, no, he has. I thought I yelled and maybe a bit too loud, and he just was upset. But no, he's just started yelling again. Ironfoot Axe Throwers, some crossbows, some more crossbows. Is that 3 units of crossbows? Yeah, a little bit into the red limit, but I think that's a fair bet when you're going up against dwarves. Highborns of Erebor. Actually, no. Let's let them move. Obsidian Guard. In the back here, some Ironfoot Warriors. And a nice mob of Ironfoot Warriors again. Not a heap of elites. Quite similar to the last battle where we saw Erebor really took a pretty beefy elite army. Oh, some good fire there in the beginning. And actually, the boys have... just doesn't look like they're going to be defending the... Oh, no, they have. They've got some men down here, but it really looks like they're going hard for the final defense. we're just going to be bunching them up and allowing for that trebuchet to do some good damage. The issue when you have these two very, like, really not numbers heavy, really skill heavy factions on the defense, it means that every man counts. Every man always does count, apart from when you've got just a swarm of orcs. But it's good that they're able to get some counterfire on that treb and onto Sonny's army. But trebuchet, okay, Basil, stop it! You're so bad. A trebuchet should be able to outshoot that catapult right now. Let's just turn. Yeah, because my mic's currently turned away from him, so I don't actually think you'll hear him. Let me just try to modify that position a little bit. No, that's silly. No, I won't bother doing that. Just you can be very well aware that he's whining away. I know. I love you, Basil. So we've got Star moving up on over, and see, in this sort of scenario, I would have really, if I was Sonny, I would have maybe deployed more toward the end of what I generally refer to as the spine of Edoras, which ends just about there. And because right now what's going to happen is the dwarves and Umbar are going to be crashing down onto one side, whereas this area over here is going to be left quite barren. And that's going to leave the elves, the very poorly armoured elves, to be striking this area by themselves entirely. Okay, you might have heard that. He's bad boy. I love you to pieces. Okay, while they're smashing their way through the gate, I'll give him a quick tummy rub.
Damn them all! The enemy's ram is through our gates.
Good. In the process of scratching his tummy there, I did discover my phone charger, which he was laying on top of, and it's very good that I noticed that before he did, because he would have devoured that. I've lost about 4 phone chargers throughout Basil's life to him just chewing through them, no matter how careful I've tried to be. So we come bashing through with these Alcrondas Legion. As I say, when the defenders don't really defend this outer layer, you've got to just, take the ground. Just why not hold this territory? It is nice when you're doing, say, a 3v4 on Edoras, and the defenders have a few more men to defend these outer layers. You've got to remember, this is just a 2v3, it's not a massive fight, and so they don't really have the numbers that a defender normally would have. I don't really blame them for falling back, especially on this side where they are going to be facing off against 2 adversaries. Oh gosh. No, I think it's only 2 rams, two holes we're getting busted in right now. I'm surprised at sort of the lack of rams that are being brought here, because you can, I think a lot of, as I say, if these guys are a bit new, they might not know that you can just smash through everywhere. I always like to bring about 4 rams to Edoras and just smash down as many holes in the gateway as I can, or in the walls as I possibly can. Forlinden Marines up here. How accurate is that fire? It's not bad, actually, but a lot of it is just going into the gateway. No, it's mostly effective. I think it's pretty worthwhile. And at the end of the day, those Forlinden Marines, if I was Nair, I would have stayed there. Because you don't really, as Linden, you don't really have fodder, but your Forlinden Marines are kind of the best thing you've got for it, I feel. You'd rather your Forlinden Marines are taking that fire rather than your pikes later on. So I would have kept them there and just continued to funnel shots through, and they weren't really getting the best shot on you, so I would have stayed. That decent shield they've got will keep them a little bit safe. This is one thing, of course, the graves, when you are playing on winter mode, the graves are not covered with snow, but they're very nice models, so yeah. They're pleasant to see. I really do enjoy the flowers that are growing on top of them. So we're continuing to smash our way through now. Get a gate open there. The dwarves should be able to just plough their way in if they want to. Corsair Fencers, we didn't spot them before. And the Trebuchet team. Actually, did we get... Okay, cool. Counter battery fire from the catapult was actually able to deal with the Trebuchet. Were they able to destroy a catapult? One? Only one catapult was destroyed. Okay, good stuff. That definitely does change the game. I felt that because of how tightly packed they were up here, there was going to be curtains for them. Now, we might have a Blacklock engineer for Erebor, but I didn't spot one, and they're not very good at hiding, so I actually don't think they've been brought today. There could have been a rule against one, as sometimes there is, especially on Erebor. Erebor's a tough map to hold. It really is. It's definitely one of the few places that I wouldn't really like to be on the defense of say a 3v5. I think a 3v5 on Erebor is, sorry, not Erebor, Edoras is going to be pretty horrendous for the defenders. 3v5, you know. So 3rd Legion infantry are coming forward up against the Alcrondas Legion. Takes quite a good men-at-arm unit to be able to go toe-to-toe with the Alcrondas Legion, but the armor values of those 3rd Legion are going to be helping them out quite a bit, I'd say. Over here, again, it's one of these, it's the same sort of situation. I would have really wanted to lead the charge with my shield bearers, I think, just to get that AP down onto the 3rd Legion. And now you've got those rams as well, so we need to be busting holes. Another one over here, I'd say, just to get the Axe Guard running around and slam into the back. The Alcrondas Legion will fight to the last man, but right now they're just being fed into the meat grinder of the 3rd Legion. And another unit of Alcrondas Legion is coming forward. As I say, it's just not for the best. I didn't know Corsair Fencers could throw stuff. Oh, okay, cool. Very good. And right up into the Hiri off too, so nice. Very good stuff. No, something that will hopefully be present. You know, you'll hopefully be able to tell. I've actually upped the quality of the recording. Now I'm doing that to try and get rid of the frame stutters that I've been getting a lot of recently, and see if that sort of deals with it. Now the issue is that is going to mean that my video files are a lot larger, but if that's not too much of, you know, it's just telling me that the video files are going to be larger. I don't actually know how much larger the video files are going to be. You know, it's right now they're already quite big, especially after a long battle. So we might not always be able to do it, but if it is a very present difference that, you know, I can see and everybody is enjoying, then it's definitely something I'll make the effort to do a lot more of. Get some dedicated memory sorted out for that.
The walls are no longer ours. The enemy have
the
taken
Ironfoot Warriors, again, it's sort of only really busting down one gateway, you know, like one entrance. You can bust down here, and you know, since the defenders really are quite low on numbers down on this section, it has to be done. Because we've taken our way down to 90 3rd Legion infantry, and they'll drop a good few more as they wipe out what's left of the Alcrondas Legion, but you know, this just hasn't been, this has been a very good trade for Skinjet. I'll be pretty happy with that. Over on this end, we actually have quite a push being committed forward, as the Harlinden infantry have come up. Now, I guess he's just not really been wanting to get his Forlinden Marines forward again to be shot to pieces, but as I say, you know, it's the Forlinden Marines would have been able to just volley their javelins into the sentries and get them sorted out.
The walls have fallen.
Yeah, no, that's what I would have continued doing.
Must be our fortress now.
We're getting some
Remember,
firepower coming on over there. Let's see how that's going. Looks like some shooting going on. Over here as well. Yeah, no, it's just not been a great trade for poor Sonny. He's got another unit of Alcrondas Legion prepared and ready to go, but the shield bearers need to come forward for this. Get some nicely armor upgraded shield bearers. They're not armor upgraded, unfortunately. Whenever I play Umbar, I really like to go heavy on the elites. I make a very exceptional quality army, and just try and make up the numbers with a handful of Belagar spears, just to hold the line. Over here, Star is being able to advance unopposed. That is being put to an end by this Hiriolf unit. There's going to be a good sort of sword v spear advantage that Nokid Lee is going to be benefiting from. But still, he wasn't right there when the gate opened, well, when the hole opened, so a lot of these units are going to be able to flood on in. It might just be some Belagar archers, but they'll be able to maybe get a thrust onto the side as the Ironfoot Warriors charge them from the front. Sentries of Khazad-dûm may be fantastic pikemen, but at the end of the day, they are just pikemen, and they're clattering into heavily armoured dwarves. So that's only really going to go one way, unless they are really able to organise themselves. But with some Belgar archers coming in from behind, that's just not going to be allowed. We're at 9 for 9 now, though, so it's pretty damn close. Let's see, as a defender would want to be a little bit ahead in the early stages of a battle. Harlandin infantry have actually handled this way better than I expected. I think I always do underestimate the Harlandin infantry. You know, at the end of the day, they are elven swordsmen, so they can handle themselves. And, you know, but I really just thought coming right into the front of those sentries would be curtains for them. I guess we're getting a lot of good javelin fire from these Forlinden Marines. That's actually, they're probably landing more shots doing that than they were landing coming straight through the gateway. So yeah, okay, Nair has proved me wrong. Woodland Realm Patrol waiting though. Sort of not really getting a good shot. Okay, yeah, no, it isn't actually a very good shot. I thought it would be better. But once that breaks open, the amount of damage that Mirkwood can do very quickly with their archers means that they don't really need a front gate defense. Because as soon as you actually push through that gateway, they'll pepper you to pieces. Okay, we are actually having some fire going in now. But not everybody can get a shot. We're only getting a few stray arrows coming forward. So that's fair. Over on this end. Hammers of Gundabad now. The Hammers of Gundabad are perfect for just smashing into trolls. But they can also just break the back of some Belagar archers who are just trying to mess up this formation. The sentries of Khazad-dûm have reorganised. And they're feeling sort of emboldened after just stabbing their way into a few Belagar archers. Hammers of Gundabad will bring some order to this formation, as the Hirioth are perfect for just dealing with those Ironfoots. Yeah, as you can see over here, the poor Trebuchet team was just fed to their death at the hands of the 3rd Legion. But now that the 3rd Legion have sort of pushed outward, they are getting badly outnumbered. And of course their fencers are coming forward now heavily, very skilled units. Over on this end, yeah, it's the numbers that are really sort of going down. And these fresh units of Alcarondas Legion are winning the day. Now, as I say, I would have advised against sending in your Alcarondas Legion to this fight, but it has gone okay. And at the end of the day, he's lost a full unit of Alcarondas Legion and a little bit more to deal with a full unit of 3rd Legion, so it's not actually too bad a trade. Lyndon's forces are now almost totally free and inside, and he's going to be running forward to try and lock some of these guys into melee. So this really is when No Kadli needs to be unloading on him with everything he's got. Of course, probably not Rangers right now, but he's falling back. Now, as I say, this Hiriek will hold the line quite well, but I would have maybe had those guys sitting there and fired into them as they approach, get the Hiri Peng firing into the gateway. But yeah. So what they've just done there is generally surrendered both this position and now this position. Now this position is exceptionally important for Edoras. Whenever I'm attacking, I will always do my best. I'll pour half my army into taking this position, because once you have it, that was a bit of friendly fire from the catapult there. Okay, no, it just crashed. Oh dear, one of them's just crashing into the remains of this catapult, unfortunately. Again, whenever you've got a unit like this, the hitbox is always so much larger than the model appears. So that's going to be absorbing ammunition, and it might end up killing some of these men if it blows up too close to them. Fireman, we'll watch the next shot and just see. Hopefully it'll pass right over the top. We're at 20 for 16. So the defenders are down at this point. Okay, good. They're able to fire right over. I didn't actually think they'd be able to. It's unfortunately a miss. A slamming right into the Alcarondas Legion would be fantastic there. The shield bearers are coming forward now. I've really been talking them up recently. I hope they do well for me. Alcarondas Legion mixed in with some fencers, taking the ground here. But as I say, yeah, so I will pour a huge amount of manpower into securing this position. Because if you can get a unit of crossbows, right now the Dwarves of Erebor have 3 full units of crossbows. If you can get them up there, if you can get a unit of Rangers up there, the Wardens of Elostirion might be hanging around somewhere in that formation, then you could just pour ammunition into this, and it forces the enemy to fall all the way back. Either just take your firepower, or it forces them to fall all the way back to the final choke point in order to be safe. So it's really saves a lot of the attackers' lives. if you're able to properly use that position. Harlanden infantry here, battling up against the Hiriek. Hiriek may be spearmen, but they are elven spearmen at the end of the day. So they're usually able to go toe-to-toe with most sword men-at-arms. Now, Harlanden infantry are going to be able to beat a lot of those advantages, because they themselves are heavily skilled elves. So it's... I'm surprised actually that the Harlanden infantry are having so much trouble, but I guess it's just a numbers advantage that the Harlanden infantry are suffering from here. It's 2 units though. Is it? Surely this is more than 40 men I'm looking at. This is more than 44 men. Yeah, no, there's a 43 and a 44. They just happen to have such close numbers that it's weirding me out. So yeah, I'm surprised those Hiriek are standing so well. Now, as well, with losing that, the defenders are going to be having to defend this choke point too. And this is another position where some ranger fire could just tear through, or any sort of ranged unit can get positioned here, shoot in the backs of these men, and that won't be pretty. Up here. Still trying to get myself into the habit of using the arrow keys a lot more than using my mouse to move around, because I always think it just looks so much smoother when you use the arrow keys. Khazad-dûm Reclaimers positioning themselves right up the top of this cliff will be tearing through the Corsair fencers and doing a lot of damage to their eastern brothers, even though they may be heavily armoured, and you know, axes are still axes. They're still going to hurt a lot. These Khazad-dûm Reclaimers moving on up. Spears crashing away, along with Corsair fencers. It's very tricky adjusting from, well, it shouldn't be too tricky, but it's quite tricky for me to adjust between Reforged and Warhammer Total War, in which throwing axes are armor piercing, but throwing javelins are not. Yes, it's very, I do like to sort of muck about with Norska a bit, get a lot of my throwing units used. Alcrondas Legion here taking an absolute pounding from above. Looks like Elven Arrow Fire, but it could be Orc Hunters of Khazad-dûm. I actually didn't see any Orc Hunters of Khazad-dûm, but I think perhaps there was a... Oh no, there are some. Good. It's always good to have some range units of your own, even when you do have an ally that is so archer focused as Mirkwood is. Oh dear, shooting up and over like that is not going to be too great, but they're elves at the end of the day, so they can get some good accuracy. Harlanden infantry, now that they've sort of gotten a bit of a surround on this force, should actually be coping a lot better, but it's still tricky for them. I think it's probably just because of the arrow fire that's really putting them off. 4 Linden Archers moved on up. 4 Linden Archers lacking a shield, lacking any real armour, are going to be cut to pieces. The Harlanden Guard, they may not be well armoured, but at least they have a shield. Oh dear, Mithlon Pikes are moving up. Now this is really objective number 1, if you've got any archers to spare. And the defenders do still have quite a bit of ammunition. So these poor pikes, I think definitely this first unit of pikes is going to be getting wiped out. It seems to be a total... Okay, I was going to say he's moving everything up, but no. He's keeping a lot of these marines back. He's not brought any of the uber elites. The Noldoran Guard are fantastic, and yeah, that's where he put his general. I think that that's a solid shout. Like, I think the Noldoran Guard are so good that you don't really need to use the sword masters and such. I had a battle with Scout on Saturday as part of the stream, and so he was playing as Linden. So that's the first time I've actually fought against Linden in quite a little while. But you know, it is tricky when you're playing as a human, and the Noldoran Guard are coming at you, and they aren't, they aren't 2 hit points, but they're as good as it. So it's always tough to know what to counter them with. Coming on forward there, the shield bearers now, if they can get a good flank there, that'd be nice. A lot of this arrow fire is coming from up and over. The axes have an amazing position, but I think maybe the defenders are trying to use up too much ammunition too early, and that's resulting in them really just not getting their archers into great positions. Sometimes what you just want to do is wait for the Khazad-dûm Reclaimers to use up their axes, or use up as many as Skinjet wants to use up, then they can move out of that position, and then you can have a unit of archers move in there. You know, you've got to have a constant flow sometimes of these great spots. Edoras is a map where you can get some great fire in if you're willing to be patient for it. The catapult crew out of ammunition. Oh no, they're trying to move out of the way, it looks like. But they're just having a bit of trouble. That catapult is going to be very useful in the later stages of this fight. Wounded Rangers getting some okay fire, but generally no. A lot of wasted arrows there. Woodland Realm Patrol coming in to reinforce this line. Let's sort of see how thick that is on the ground. Yeah, you can see it's really flimsy. Now, elves are able to hold in positions like that, especially up against... okay, cool. So the Ironfoot have actually sent some forces around. What I would absolutely love to do here is get a unit of Ironfoot spears over at this side of the battlefield and just break through. Hammers of Gundabad will stop that, though. A few of these pikes actually running through, which is not really how you want to use pikes. Pikes are very... It's going to take a while, but you'll get there. You will get them killed. And the issue as well, we spotted it in a recent Moria fight, but these really heavy slants on maps they really defeat the purpose of pikemen, because instead of being able to have 3 ranks fighting, you're only really able to have 1, because everybody else will just be stabbing into the ground or stabbing into somebody's head. So I try not to really rely too much on pikemen when I'm defending or attacking Edoras, unless I'm really wanting to use them at that opening flat ground section. Using them to defend or push these ramps. Well, I don't call them ramps really. It's just slopes. Slopes is a much better word. Is tricky. Hammers of Gundabad coming in now have reinforced this line, as it was really needing it, and they actually need something more because this position is about to break, and then their right flank is going to be broken. With the Mythlon Marines as well unloading javelins into them, that's not going to be fun. Lacking a shield, those Hammers of Gundabad do not have long. I do kind of, although I think they look a heck of a lot better now, of course, I do miss, there's a part of me that misses the green tone to their armour.
The enemy are badly
As I say,
bloodied.
definitely a lot prettier
They have
now.
lost half their men.
Over here, it's starting to get quite thin on the ground too as the dwarves push forward. The Ironfoot warriors and Ironfoot spears may really be, they're nowhere near as skilled and powerful as their well, fallen, certainly not fallen, fallen as in defeated. You know, they're gone, these poor warriors of Khazad-dûm. They're from the past, so they're usually, you know, from the past, you're better. You're more legendary. These Ironfoot warriors are not quite the same, but in their numbers, they are able to push through. Backed up by some Hurrioth, though. They will reform. Axe throwers throwing at axe throwers right now. Or just sort of trying to get stuck in. Yeah, no. Just trying to get stuck into the Hurrioth. Thing as well with the Khazad-dûm reclaimers. Oh!
Like the coward he is.
Who's just admitted
Press
defeat there?
onward and break the spirit of his army.
Oh, gosh. Umbar just admitted defeat. Why the heck did you do that? That's really unfortunate. Ah, come on, Sonny. Oh, that's really naff. The boys needed you. If you had to go, then that's, I mean, I totally understand when people do have to leave, but I think really, if you know you have to go, just grab everything you have and just, you know, right click, right click, right click, right click, right on the town centre, and just have them run at it. You know, that's really what you need to do, because just admitting defeat like that, you've really just kind of stuffed your allies is the problem. This is, you know, these men were very needed. Just break that position. Over here as well, that's a lot of forces. All the Axe Guard hadn't been used. The Harbingers of Castamere hadn't been used. No, I'll be, and of course the Alcarondas Legion, even 6 of them, they'll probably kill another 2 or 3 elves. No, oh, that's unfortunate. I will put a disclaimer in the description of this battle, that happens, and it will definitely sort of sway the battle tremendously. I'll still make a thing of this, but But yeah, I'll probably, yeah, that's too bad. I'd say it's still very thematic, still very nice to look at, but with that, everybody knows what's going to happen here. So, good on Narbore and good old Star for staying in this. Really grateful for that. You know, it does suck when this sort of thing happens, but you've just gotta roll with the punches. And as I say, Sonny might have been, you know, we have no idea what happened. You know, poor dude might just had to disappear. So so it's fair enough. But even then, I don't really think you should admit defeat. I think if you've got to leave, this is maybe a bit controversial, but I think if you're an attacker and you've got to leave, don't admit defeat. Just, as I say, give the double right-click order if you have the time, and even if you don't, just leave the game. Because that way, the defenders kind of, once the defenders beat back all of the other attackers, you can kind of have this what-if scenario in which the defenders can go down and they can fight your AFK army. And it just helps to visualize, like, look at what they have left, compare it to what you have in AFK, just sitting there, you know, in reserve, if you will. And it helps you kind of think about, like, yeah, okay, cool, we would have maybe won that. You know, or just helps you think about who would win. Good on these shield bearers fighting to the death. They'll of course be dying very quickly, but they're going to be able to give a swing or two. These shield bearers, it's actually kind of funny. Even though these men have been routing back and forth, some of them are actually routing back in. I would have thought Edoras... Oh, sorry, my voice is going... Sorry. I would have thought Edoras was a really easy map for routing troops to actually find their way off the field. But of course it's good for the attackers right now that these men are running back forward. Noldor and Guard coming over here to back up the dwarves. Seems that the evil men have lost the stomach for this fight. So it is an elf and a dwarf versus an elf and a dwarf. That's kind of cool. Greenwood Rangers coming down here. As I say, I love the aesthetic of evening battles, and because we don't really see winter too much, it's really quite cool. I'm actually probably going to snag some of that. Yeah, trim the flag. That's cool. Yeah, nice. One more. Oh, missed him. There he is. Good. Let me just make sure I've not muted my mic. I don't think I have, but... Good. Hello. Nice. Yeah, I've got a few buttons that I can press to just, like, mute my mic, and I'm like, oh crap, if I've just done that, that'll be curtains. Wardens of Amonlank standing by. They've got their armor-piercing arrows. But yeah, as at this point, you know, as if one of my enemies disconnected like that, I would definitely start to play a bit more wildly. We talked about this in one of our podcasts. I think it was the first podcast actually that we did on New Year's Eve, actually, just before I went out. We talked about generally playing to lose in a battle. Now, just to make it more interesting, sometimes if you know you're definitely going to be winning, you know, do you ever start playing to lose? Now, I think it's a very dangerous thing to do, and I don't ever really encourage it. Oh gosh, the minimap's going crazy. Let's zoom back out. Just didn't know what to think there. It's not really something I ever encourage, but you do see some scenarios like this where it's like the defenders really would, to lose, the defenders really would have to screw up dramatically. So there might be a few plays that we spot from Noked Lee and from Skinjet, or Skinjet, that are maybe not the most appropriate, but they're probably just done to try and make the battle a bit more interesting. Sindar of the Girdle are running on down here, getting a good charge into these men. It's always good to, sort of, especially on Edoras, it's nice to bring one unit of cav. He's going to have to be careful, because what would be very tempting at this point is to charge those back lines. Now, he himself put down those stakes. Oh, goodness, please. Okay, good. I was going to say, he did it himself, so, you know, he really should remember where they are. But yeah, Edoras is a big map for this sort of thing. To be honest, if I was playing on Edoras and I was on the defense and I took some cav, I would probably request from my allies, just don't put down stakes. because it's just going to cut off our ability to do things like that. Like, he could have gone a quick, like, brutal rear charge into the back of these 4 Linden archers and sort of start to break this line and really relieve his front. But because of those stakes, he can't do that. He can maybe very carefully come slamming up this way. That could be interesting. Alright. Let's see, if nothing else, this will still be a good test battle for my, for, like, as I say, the higher video quality. So that's definitely something. These poor Ironfoot Spears running at 59. I'd say it really just does show you the morale difference between Erebor and Khazad-dûm. Like, I don't really see Khazad-dûm getting played as much anymore, except for siege scenarios. That's really the only time I see people playing as Khazad-dûm. Now, of course, they're kind of built for that, and I like that. You know, they're probably the best siege faction that there is, but when you know, people will always tend to prefer Erebor in an open field. But when you see moments like that's something you just won't really see from Khazad-dûm. Their morale is that touch better. This line has been holding out really well. Like, it's constantly been losing, but it's been losing very slowly, and that is just sort of a testament to these Elven Swordmasters and, of course, the Rangers with their exceptional skill. So that's definitely something to take note of. A few flip kicks there. And I'd say there's no flip kicks coming back at them. There's no Harlanden Swordmasters here. Or Lord Forbidden Oldor and Swordmasters. Sindarth the Girdle, kind of just lacking a target right now. Is there anything they could be going for? Could be running up here, around. They could be striking there. But as I say, this is something that maybe the defenders are just not wanting to do that, because it would just be a bit cheeky. Which is fair enough. I definitely would sort of respect that. Some Obsidian Guard here and Noldoran Guard. So yeah, the Sindarth the Girdle would be very powerful just coming in there. It's a very short distance to charge, but I still think they could get a decent one. Whereas on this end, Wardens of Amallanc coming forward, big old axes, smashing down. They will have a lot of fun cracking into the Ironfoot Warriors and even the Highborns. They're quite a skilled unit, those Wardens. But if I was the defenders now, I would think about sending up, Elven King Palace Guard. I would definitely think about sending up some of my elite units, just because the attackers are sending up theirs. And there's not really anything prepped and ready to deal with them. Yep, kind of smashing in now, kind of making a bit of a dent for sure. And the Wardens are winning right now. I'd say they're perfectly built for this. But I just kind of expected the numbers disparity to have quite a big effect. That's man. He's got his torch in he's got his torch in one hand and the axe in the other, so he's sort of dual gripping with one of his hands. It's quite cool to see. Definitely will sort of cut down on his grasp off the axe, but he doesn't seem to be having too much trouble, to be honest. I do love it. I don't know, does it happen in medieval? Well, I think I was just about to have mentioned it. Oh no. I don't know how this guy's got his. He's hovering with some elven magic. But no, I do love it when you've got the torches and they're kind of like bouncing around, but I think that's a Rome 1 glitch. I don't think that happens too much. I mean, no, it's kind of happening to this guy. It's like if they don't have a free hand, it just sort of hovers, because that guy's got a banner and he's got an axe, but it's sort of just dancing around him. I like these. Oh, these look really cool as well during an evening, because these are just natural to Edoras, and they'll just be lit at any time of the day. But no, they look really. That's nice. Oh, cool. Sendar coming down. I'd say Edoras is a lovely looking map, but it's tricky to play. Very, very difficult to get a proper close game on it. Noldoran Guard approaching now for a rear charge on the Sindar approaching for this final rear charge, and I think that'll be I think over here has kind of been dealt with. Yes, it has. Not too many of the Linden forces remaining, but yeah, just coming in from the back here, even if it's not a great charge, the Sindar have the melee skill to look after themselves. They've got a bit of armor, not a lot, but they've got a bit of armor. and they've got the 2 hit points, so they can kind of stand up quite well. So even if they're not really getting their charges off, that presence behind them is going to be damaging to morale and sort of going to be a bit messy. We've got the General of Linden standing there as the shield guard push down upon them. But yeah, that's too bad. I really, where are we at? Yes, I really would like to think 69A. I think had Umbar not fled, I genuinely think this could have been the attacker's game. I think that they were doing things pretty dang well, and the units that Umbar had remaining, as I say, that the Harbingers, they were fantastic. Sure, they're not AP, but they would definitely be able to rack up a lot of kills. But those 2 Axe Guard, the 2 Balakith Axe Guard, I really wanted to see them go toe to toe with the elite of, the damn good quality of Khazad-dûm, and see how that would have turned out. As well as that, there's a lot of crossbow fire, a lot of axe fire that just wasn't used up, just because they weren't able to secure all of those choke points for long enough. As I say, Star definitely, I just don't think he knew about it. But something for another time is, if Star ever does watch this, definitely using this position. This is a fantastic place to come firing on into the main line. So I would definitely consider that if I was him. Not that he wasn't getting some decent fire from where he is, but he's just kind of jumbled on top of each other, and yeah, because that's like 2 units sort of pressed into there. And the axe throwers on top of it. He could have done a lot better elsewhere. So there's no more. Oh, there are a few axe sort of Ironfoots there, and the Highborns of Erebor battling away. But the Wardens, as I say, they've done a number on them, and the Elven King Palace Guard with their AP and just their all-around talent are going to be mopping that up. So let's just position ourselves here and probably go into. Oh, it's even sort of giving a bit of a rain. That's just so cool. It really has been a pretty battle. And I hope that the quality of the video shows that. So we'll see. I absolutely adore using version 2 shaders. I always, just in case you guys, ever, if anybody out there just never watched the replays, their own replays, you can do, of course, version 1 shader or version 2 shader, and the only reason I don't use version 2 shader is because it shows the blood and the mud. Mainly the mud. The blood is actually really quite cool. I much prefer the way that, of course, Medieval does blood rather than the way Warhammer 3rd Age does blood. I really can't be bothered with that. Like, it's just, yeah, it takes me right out of it when I get a successful artillery strike and suddenly everybody explodes like they're berries or something, getting squished, and I'm just like, like really, it's just not something I care for. Whereas I would love to see the blood done. Maybe there's some mods out there that kind of, I think there might be. I think I did actually research it at some point, like realistic blood amounts.
We have captured the enemy general.
Because I really like the way that Medieval does blood. It's cool, and it's nice to see it when a unit has just been holding the line for ages and they are just covered in blood. Whereas it's the mud, because everybody's put so much effort into these models and they've made them look gorgeous, and then when we get our 2006 mud texture plastered over the top of the model, it just looks so nasty. And since horses and since it's based on movement, and like I don't know much about it, but basically horses move around so much when they're standing still, it's because just their constant shuffling, they just get covered in mud immediately. But yeah, anyway, nice that the battle finished though. That's definitely a nice thing to see. So, Guards of Khazad-dûm, as they were thrown right in at the end. Catapult there, very, very impressed that the Catapult was able to counter battery fire that trebuchet. Orc Hunters, doing some good work. Reclaimers, yeah, nice for that 206. Shield Guard there, 302, that's fantastic from them. How did those 3rd Legion... Yeah, okay, cool. So these 3rd Legion infantry definitely went toe-to-toe with the Alcarondas Legion. And, 127 prisoners caught, so they must have been running down afterward as well. So it was these two primarily. Yeah, as I say, I was quite impressed with them being able to deal with the Alcarondas Legion, but I knew they would. And then the Hammers of Gundabad were great. Yeah, no casualties healed, of course, but 317 casualties inflicted with this guy, so that's fantastic to see. But no, cool. Apart from that, yeah, I think Noked Lee kind of disagreed with some of the shooting there, but no, all in all, pretty well done. Cinder of the Girdle, yeah, like very nice. I mentioned if you're going to be using a unit of knights inside of Edoras, maybe don't use the stakes, because I always think a defender can do more than an attacker can with cavalry. That's maybe silly, but yeah, I just think that a defender is going to be struggling when there's stakes inside more than an attacker will. Like, especially if you put in a gateway. What I absolutely adore when I'm attacking is when somebody puts stakes on a gateway, because if they... Oh, sorry about that, I hit my mic. Because if somebody charges their cavalry outside at me, and I start shooting them, and then they turn around to run away, they have to slow down. They have to walk through the gate. So while they're walking through the gate, instead of just getting one successful volley on them, I might get 3. Because as I say, they're walking through. It's great, and they've got to keep on walking until the whole unit is past those stakes. So yeah, it's just something you've got to communicate with your team. You got to really think about whether or not you want those stakes put in. So Narboreth here, I think he did really quite well. As I said, kind of disagreed with him pulling out those Marines in the beginning, but no, it's not the end of the world. And we saw after that he got an amazing position with them. So yeah, I regretted saying that a little bit. And apart from that, really cool that he went for just the 2 Noldor Guard instead of anything exceptional. Really scary when he used his... I didn't like how he used his pikes, and I didn't like when he used his pikes. I think he, because he pushed through with his pikes, and that's not good. They're not good at that, especially not elves, and especially not Linden elves. And then as well as that, he moved them up quite early when the enemy still had so much ammunition to pepper them to pieces. I should have actually. Let's actually have a quick look and see. Do we have a lot of Linden pikeman bodies? Not really. Maybe they weren't. Yeah. Okay. Cool. Maybe they were able to sort of slip by unopposed. We're not seeing any pikes down here. Cool, okay, well done. Yeah, once again, proven wrong. Narbre is Nerbore is clearly does know what he's doing about this. Star there, yes, definitely that position with the crossbows. So much power can be had there. I think there were just a bit too many crossbows in the one place, for my liking. But all in all, yeah, handled himself well. I like this Horde Erebor approach of just like heaps and heaps of Ironfoot warriors. That's cool, because I think people do get suckered into the idea of like, wait, so I can get Highborns and Obsidian Guard and Dragon Slayers and Blacklocks. You know, I can get so many of these 2 hit point elites and the Hammer Guard too. Why not? You know, and like half their army are elite units, and it's like, yeah, but you know, you don't have the numbers to keep them safe, so I'm just gonna shoot them to pieces. But yeah, and then poor old Sonny there, as I said, don't know what happened. So he had 437 that actually made it off the field. Now a lot of those men would have actually been captured as well. We saw they wouldn't have been fighting to their full effectiveness. Maybe he wouldn't have been such a factor as I thought. But I would have loved to have seen what would have happened if he had gotten stuck in. But yeah, that's just the way it goes. So yeah, sorry about this one. That was yeah, I'll see what we're doing. But yeah, thank you very much.